All right, today we're going to dig into a really fascinating book from over a century ago that claimed to hold all the secrets to mind power. What's wild is that it's basically an early blueprint for ideas that might sound, well, surprisingly familiar. So, let's open up this old manual and see what secrets it holds.
I mean, that's a huge question, right? It's the kind of thing that fuels everything from sci-fi movies to the entire self-help industry. But here's the thing. This idea, it is not new, not by a long shot.
That's right. Way back in 1909, a writer named Janet Young published a book that promised to teach you exactly how to do it. It was basically a guide to harnessing these unseen forces to completely change your life.
So, how in the world did she think it all worked? Well, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the mind manual itself. Then, we'll dive into her core theory about your two minds. After that, we'll get into what I'm calling the universe's Wi-Fi. You'll see. Then, the really practical stuff, how to hack your subconscious. And we'll finish up by meeting the divine helpers she believed were on call to assist you.
Okay, first, let's set the stage a little. You have to remember, this book came out during a time when people were absolutely fascinated with new ideas in psychology, spiritualism, and the power of positive thinking. It really is a precursor to so many ideas that we see all over the place today.
And to prove this wasn't some new radical idea she just cooked up, the author, Janet Young, put this quote from the Roman philosopher Seneca right on her title page. It was a really smart way of grounding her work in ancient wisdom, basically saying, hey, listen, for centuries, the greatest thinkers have known that the mind is unbelievably powerful.
So how does all this power actually work? Well, according to Young, her entire system rests on one huge central idea. You don't have one mind, you have two.
She calls them the objective and the subjective minds. The objective mind is pretty much what we'd call our conscious mind today. You know, it's the part that uses reasoning, deals with the five senses, and plans out your day. But the subjective mind, that's the subconscious, and that's the real powerhouse. It's the deep thinker, it's the doer, and most importantly, it's the part of you that's connected to a higher divine power.
And in this system, the subjective mind is absolutely the star of the show. It's not just some passive storage closet for your memories. Young believed it could act all on its own, tapping into a kind of universal knowledge and pushing solutions right up into your conscious awareness.
This analogy she uses is just perfect. Think of your conscious, objective mind as the captain on the bridge of a ship. The captain decides the destination, right? I want to be healthier, or I need a creative solution. But it's the huge, powerful, unseen crew below decks, that's the subjective mind, that actually adjusts the sails, manages the engine, and steers the ship to get you there. The captain gives the order, but the crew does all the real work.
Okay, so if the subconscious mind is the crew, how does it communicate with the outside world to actually make things happen? This is where the theory gets really interesting and very, very 1909. This is the fundamental challenge for any kind of mind-over-matter philosophy, isn't it? If you form a thought, a desire, an intention, how does it get from in here, inside your head, to creating change out there in the world?
And here is her answer, straight from the text. Young latches onto a really popular scientific idea of her time, the ether. Scientists back then theorized that an invisible substance called ether filled all of space and allowed light waves to travel. For Young, this was the key. She looked at the brand new marvel of wireless radio as proof that invisible energy could be sent through this invisible medium.
The best way for us to think about it now is like a kind of cosmic Wi-Fi. Young believed this ether was a divine network that connected everything and everyone. So your subconscious mind could broadcast a thought, a clear, focused desire, out into this network, and the universe would receive the signal and begin to reorganize itself to match.
Okay, so we've got the theory, two minds connected by a universal Wi-Fi. But how do you actually use it? Well, this is where the book gives a very clear step-by-step process.
So here's the four-step hack she laid out. First, you create a mind picture, which is a vivid, detailed mental movie of what you want. Think of it like an early version of a vision board. Second, you use autosuggestion, where you literally give direct commands to your subconscious. Third, and this is a big one, you have to claim your power. This isn't about wishing, it's about demanding the outcome as your divine right. And finally, you reiterate. You just repeat the process, every day, with total faith, and you refuse to let doubt creep in.
Young calls autosuggestion the great psychological miracle, and you can see why. This idea that you can reprogram your own deeper mind just by repeating affirmations and commands to yourself, that is the absolute engine of her entire system. It's how the captain gives orders to the crew.
But according to the book, you're not just broadcasting your thoughts into an empty void. You're actually calling for backup from some very powerful, unseen allies.
Now, this is a crucial element. Jung was totally convinced that the universe is just populated with spiritual beings, helpers, guides, angels, who are all ready and waiting to assist us. Your focused thought, your mind picture, it basically acts like a beacon that attracts their attention and their support.
And she gets incredibly specific about it, too. It's not just one type of being. There's this whole chain of command, a heavenly hierarchy. You've got your seraphim and cherubim at the very top, and they pass information and energy all the way down to ministering spirits and helpers who directly interact with our world.
So these helpers, then, they're the bridge. They're the ordained bond of union between the seen and the unseen. In this system, they are the agents who receive your broadcasted thoughts and help turn them from invisible ideas into a tangible reality.
So when you look at it, from 1919 mind pictures to modern vision boards, from auto-suggestion to modern affirmations, you just have to wonder, how much has really changed? This mental manual from over 100 years ago laid out a framework that, for better or for worse, is still very much with us, just dressed in different clothes. And it leaves you with a question: are these timeless truths about the mind, or are they just powerful ideas that we love to rediscover over and over again?